You all for coming. So this morning we're going to talk about the IQ system for agents. So IQ system is part of the BHHS Resource Center, or the National Global Intranet for BHHS. Give me just a second to share my screen here and we'll go ahead and get started. Just as a quick reminder, you can log into BHHS Resource Center multiple ways. One, you can go directly to bhhsresource.com. Everybody has a username or password. The easier way, however, is to go to Town Central, and you can log into BHHS right here on the quick links in the middle. This is an SSO or single sign-on. You do not need a username or password. You can also get to the BHHS Resource IQ system over here on the left on Resources. This actually just takes you to the BHHS Resource main screen, and then you go ahead and click on through to the IQ system. But this is also an SSO. It goes to the same place. So we're going to address the IQ system today from the admin standpoint. So I'm going to be showing you a couple of things that are available for the agents, kind of what the system does, and go through it that way. Feel free to stop at any time, unmute, just raise your hand, put it in chat. If you have any questions at all, I'll be happy to answer them. So the IQ system, this was developed by BHHS to be a collaborative environment for ideas, inspiration, business plans, marketing plans, content for the agents to be able to put out there in the world. The whole point of it is business planning, increasing your success in the real estate industry in general, and then how to put yourself out there with marketing and communications. All of the things that you'll see today came from various sources. One would be network leadership. So these are people like BHHS leaders in the global environment. That also comes from managers and owners of other BHHS companies. Some of the things in here actually come from BHHS agents from all over the country. And in fact, I think they have some global things in here now as well. And then we also have network influencers. So these are people like Katie Lance, who you might have seen some of her marketing come out before, where she is a social media trainer that works with BHHS, and she's contributed a bunch in here. So has somebody called Neil Schaefer. Again, he's a real estate social media expert, and while he is not part of the BHHS team, he is a contractor for them to provide a bunch of different content and training in here as well. I have already logged into the IQ system, but if you go to look at this for the first time, or if you have an agent logging in for the first time, as soon as they click this box, they're going to go ahead and get a pop-up screen that just tells them what the IQ system is, and it's going to have a little checkbox on it that they agree or you agree to receive emails about the IQ system. Those emails are important. There's not very many that come out, but they are very specific to the IQ system, and we definitely want them. These are going to be emails that tell you when there's new material in the IQ system. It'll also be emails that tell you when there are special workshops or mastermind events, and we'll get into those in a second, that are part of the IQ system. So those are very special trainings that happen for people who are using this IQ system. So since I've already logged on before, I'm not going to get that pop-up, and it's going to take me right into the IQ landing page. You only have to check that box once, and then you'll land in here. Let's take a quick tour of the IQ system, and I'll let you know what's underneath each one and kind of how you can find stuff. Don't forget that at any time you do have the search bar up here, which will also search IQ. You do have the self-help, which is going to be articles on IQ system and where you can find things. And then if you ever get lost, something's not working, you're not sure where something is, do go ahead and use that live chat if you need to for the customer success team from BHHS. They're available from 5 to 6 Pacific time. You can also call them directly if you don't want to chat, and you can also email them directly if you need to. So that's available on every single page in the BHHS system in general. All right, so the system of IQ is broken down into kind of two big parts on the main screen here. This is a static image right now, but I've seen this be a video before, especially if they're introducing something new. Usually it's a static image. But over here on the right-hand side for this menu, the place you'll want to go to is this getting started. If this is the first time you're logging in, or if an agent is logging in for the first time. The getting started area goes through what is IQ, what can you expect, what can I find. Mine looks a little bit different here because I am part of the administrative management staff on Resource Center. So my screen goes to getting started for brokers and leaders. But if an agent were to hit the getting started button, it would go to getting started for agents. So depending on what your role is, some of this information changes. This is very similar to what we've discussed before with Resource Center. It's all role-based now. So depending on whether you're an agent, administrative staff, manager, super admin, whatever you are, you may have more or different information within the system. But do know that this actually is an agent getting started when an agent goes ahead and hits that. Let me go back to my IQ home here and let you know what else we have in here. So we have things called the community networking system. So these are things like developing community events, community outreach, things, ideas and inspiration to be able to reach out to your community. These might be things like the food trucks, a food truck event or a shredding event, or how to do things within the neighborhood, or doing major neighborhood marketing or niche marketing or things like that. My real estate ecosystem, the ecosystem word in the IQ system literally means sphere of influence. So if you have an agent who is working on trying to develop their database, if they're trying to get better about making contact with those people, if they're trying to expand their database and their big sphere of influence, the real estate ecosystem is the section they would want to be in. Marketing and communications has a lot to do with things like getting all of that information out there. So if we're doing community outreach, we're developing our sphere, how do we market all that? How do we communicate with people? So this is going to have a lot of things in here about like direct marketing. It's going to have a lot of things to do with social media. It's going to have a lot of things to do with email marketing. Anything that we can do to kind of push that information out in a marketing and communications kind of way. Personal branding and promotion plan. So that kind of takes all three of those pieces. So the community network, that outreach, the ecosystem, that sphere of influence, and the marketing and communications. And this says, okay, let me develop that personal plan that's just for me in here. And that way we can develop this for me and what's going to work for what my goals are and what I need to do to be successful. And then this campsite calendar actually goes along with the marketing and communications. And this is updated every single month. And it is literally hand feeding ways to communicate with your clients, your sphere, your community events in a calendar format. So it's going to give basically a task each and every day and provide the materials for an agent to be able to stay in touch with their entire ecosystem, their entire sphere of influence. We'll go into these in just a second, but I want to go ahead and keep taking the tour here. On the bottom here, think of this section as the entire business and marketing plan. This is going to be very individual to every single agent. The first thing that they're going to be encouraged to do when they log into the IQ system is actually take the My Real Estate IQ quiz. This is not a pass-fail. What it does is it actually shows an agent in kind of a graphical form where they are in their current business, where they could be, and then based on what they're doing now or what their goals are, here are the ideas that they have in order to increase their real estate IQ or influence quotient, influencing that network, influencing the neighborhoods, influencing their sphere of influence. So that quiz is really individual to each and every agent. That influential leadership kind of goes into the same thing. It's going to be just training from the leadership of BHHS specific to various topics. And then you go into things that are very specific, again, to each individual agent. My business vision, wealth creation, and my business and marketing plan. All of these are very individual to an agent and what they want to do to be successful. An agent in Williamsburg, or an agent in Newport News, or an agent in Norfolk, or an agent in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, they're all going to have a very different marketing plan based on the types of business that they're working or businesses that they'd like to be in. We have a number of agents right now who would like to increase the price point that they're in. These are the kind of business and marketing plans that would say, okay, here's what you're doing now. This is my goal. How do I need to get there to increase my price point, or to break into the luxury collection market, or to break into another neighborhood, or to really solidify my social media presence? What is that marketing plan going to be? It's going to be different for everyone. And remember I said that there were those workshops and masterminds here as well. So the workshops happen I believe it's every other Thursday, and it's a new topic each time about the IQ system. Sometimes it's an IQ system getting started or a review. Other times it's going to be very specific things to the IQ. They may bring in agents from around the globe to give ideas and on a very specific topic, or they may even introduce something new that's been added to the system, and then people can go ahead and ask questions, they can talk about it and things like that. So it's a very interactive and collaborative environment here. So going down here, you'll see this instant inspiration throughout the whole system. These are trending topics, and this instant inspiration changes based on what category we're in. So this instant inspiration here on the main page are going to be the trending topics over the whole system. So in this case, it'll be things like how to get more testimonial ratings and reviews. Hot topic right now because so much weight is being put on Google reviews and how people show up in Google rankings based on the reviews they're getting. That trending topic right now would actually go into here's how you ask for reviews. Here are the places that you want to be to get reviews. Here are the best practices for getting reviews at closing or from previous clients or from people you haven't asked for it before. So it's going to go into the how-to, best practices, and then here's some resources in order to get this done. Getting started is obviously a big one for the thing. They did release some new information about some commercial real estate. So this isn't limited to just residential. We do have commercial property management and regular residential real estate in here. Here's that business plan and marketing templates, a hot topic right now. It always is in the beginning of the year. Going to workshops and masterminds, the campsite calendar, the social media playbook, which I'll show you in a second, building your real estate ecosystem, or again, that sphere of influence, and then always on content and influencing. So these are things that you can be doing all the time, kind of set it and forget it kind of things to backfill all of the other marketing efforts that you're doing. So those are the hot topics right now in the system. This changes all the time. This changed since the last time I was in here. And it really just depends on what people are looking at and what people are utilizing in the system. You may have noticed this thing called a spark. This is where you can actually submit an idea. And I encourage everyone and every agent to submit a great idea if you have one, because that's how this whole system grows. As we get into some of these topics, you'll actually see who wrote and submitted the topic in the first place. And then you'll see all of their various best practices, any resources they used, and things like that. So say an agent in one of our offices has the most amazing summer garage sale series. I don't know, we're going to make something up. And it worked really well for them. They got a lot of business, a lot of lead generation. They were doing a lot of outreach, and they were able to really get into maybe a neighborhood they hadn't been able to get into before. They really brought the community together, and they want to share that idea. They would be able to go ahead and put in their subject line. So something like, garage sale summer series, what type it is, what subtype it would go under. So in this case, it would be something like a community networking event. And then they would go ahead and put it in the description, as much information as they could. If they had any files to upload, you could go ahead and do that. So this might be flyers or brochures, copies of e-cards, copies of things that went out into the neighborhood, all sorts of interesting information. And then you can go ahead and upload all of that. So what happens there is that the team up at BHHS will take a look at all this information. They may contact whoever submitted it, say, okay, let's get some more ideas, some more information here. And then they'll write it up into an article or a Spark, and they can go ahead and add it to the system. So it's a really neat way to have that kind of collaborative network environment. All the way down here at the bottom, you will actually see something called join the chat. We've talked about chatter groups or networking groups in some of our other marketing or other classes before. They actually have a chat group just for real estate network influencers. So this is for the IQ system. This is a way to ask questions and get answers. Maybe an idea or inspiration isn't in here. Maybe somebody needs help with something very specific. You can go ahead and actually ask in that real estate network influencers, and then people who are in that networking group will share their ideas, share resources, and things like that. It's all about sharing, and it's all about collaboration in here. All right, let's take a look at some of these topics up here. We already went through that getting started. Again, if you click that, it's going to be a whole getting started guide and kind of what's available in the IQ system. And then I'm going to show you a couple of these different categories here, and then show you how things are organized in here to be able to find things. So let me go ahead and click on that community networking system. Again, this is all about community outreach. So the first time you go into a section, you'll notice that we have what we call this breadcrumb menu here. And this is going to keep expanding out and out and out the deeper you get. If you ever need to get back to this page, you'll be able to click on that community networking system to get back here. Or if you ever want to go back to home, you can also click this to go back to the home page pretty easily. So just do keep an eye out for that, what we call the breadcrumb links up here at the top of the screen. So the first time we log in to one of these sections, it's going to actually give us an explainer video of some sort, and it's going to tell us what the section is about. This particular one just talks about what the community networking system does and what you can expect from the system. You'll notice that we have these dark Cabernet boxes here. That means that there is more information under them. The boxes will turn gray when we're at the final step, when there isn't as much underneath them. We're to the final section of that category. So you can see that this includes reaching out to local businesses, reaching out to your neighborhoods and communities, and also working with charitable organizations. Remember, I said that the instant inspiration would change based on where you were. So here's the instant inspiration or trending topics for this section on community networking only. So it's a My Favorite series, food truck series, Neighbors Know Best, how to make community videos. Here's one on a community hayride event that went really well, or a card show, or here's a Thanksgiving pie event that somebody did, Hero of the Week, Donate on a Deal, Fun Run. So these are all the trending topics, but it's not limited to just these topics. These are just the most popular right now. So let me go ahead and click down into one of these. I'm going to go ahead and click neighborhoods and communities, probably the most popular one we would use under here. And it's going to bring up, again, more information, and you'll be able to see how this looks in the organization of the system. So now we're going to get into the how-tos. Remember that inspiration is going to change. So this is just about the neighborhood and community inspiration. It's not going to be about working with local businesses or charitable organizations. That instant inspiration is just about the neighborhoods and communities we've clicked into. And then you're going to be able to go ahead and see some of this information that's in here. So they're going to have that inspiration over here. And then you're going to be limited to community events, how to create community videos, or something called Neighbors Know Best. Let's look at community events, just to have something to look at here. And notice that breadcrumb menu keeps building out those links so you can get back to whatever you're working on at any time up here at the top. So in this case, that video is a little bit longer. It's a 5-minute and 57-second video, so a 6-minute video. And this is going to talk about community events and how you can get into different kinds of community events, what they are, best practices, all sorts of fun things. These trainings get longer as you continue to go through the system and get more specific. So in this case, it's giving us some how-tos here. Do we want to learn more about the food truck or the car show or the pie event or the hayride event or pet adoption event? I'm going to look at the food truck event. Just so that we can see what that looks like. And notice that we're down to an article now. Remember, we've also said that you can search any of these articles at any time. So something like this, which is a knowledge article, would actually show up in that main search bar if you ever needed to use it for Resource Center, if you wanted to get back to this. If you put food trucks in there, it'll actually take you into the IQ system and into this knowledge piece as well. So this is where we get down to who the contributors were and what kind of information is available under here. So we have Vince Lisi, who's BHHS Ambassador Real Estate, was the contributor here. I believe he is the owner of the franchise out in, I want to say, Nebraska, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where BHHS Ambassador, somewhere in the Midwest out there. So they did this great event with food trucks, and it worked really well for them. It was very successful. And here's how these articles work. Here's the processes and steps. Here are best practices to improve that success. Here are promotion and marketing suggestions that you can do. And here are the resources that you'll need in order to accomplish this. So a You're Invited e-card, a Save the Date e-card, and an e-card that was generic that was created for this. So it was probably either a follow-up card or something like that that's available. So you're going to see as you get into these articles, lots and lots of great information, but you'll also see all of the resources you need. So in this case, this one only has marketing resource templates that are available in here, but I've seen it where they might have a link to a tool that you might want to use, or a link to even more information somewhere else out on the web that they might need to accomplish this. So do take a look through these whole articles, and you'll find all of the information that you need to make this successful. That's why when submitting those sparks, we always try to submit as much information as we can, and then they will contact whoever submitted it and just try to get as much information as possible and then what resources were available for it. So that's what that food truck social event looks like. And again, we can use any of these links just to go back one if we want to. And we can take a look at a different event if we wanted to as well. I'm actually going to go back out to the IQ home just so you can see what a different section would look like, since you know how that structure looks now. And I'm going to go into the My Real Estate Ecosystem. Remember, ecosystem is just another fancy word for sphere of influence. In this case, the ecosystem, though, is expanding outside of what we would consider normally a normal sphere of influence, like friends and family. And this is talking about every single contact that you can make in your real estate ecosystem. So these are talking about outreach to vendors, outreach to local community businesses, outreach to organizations you might be involved with, friends, families, neighborhoods, developing that entire sphere of influence, not just limiting it to friends and family, which is what most people think about when we talk about a sphere of influence. So in this case, it's an introduction video. It's really short. It's 2.5 minutes long. It's just going to talk about the real estate ecosystem and what you can expect from the system. And then it's going to talk about either building your real estate ecosystem or doing professional networking. So let's look at build your real estate ecosystem for ideas and inspiration here. So we are down to an article here, but this one was submitted by Kim Nathanson from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Arizona Properties in Arizona. And this is a 3-minute long video about building a real estate ecosystem. But here's another video that was done, and this is from Berkshire Hathaway Florida Properties Group. This is another video explaining how they were successful in building that real estate influence in the real estate ecosystem. And then here we go again. We're just giving, here's some goals, here's some steps and best practices. Developing your sphere of influence. Here are those links I told you to keep an eye out for. Building your real estate ecosystem worksheet. So even more kind of homework to kind of define what we want to do here. Best practices, marketing and promotion suggestions, more in the community networking, visiting that campsite calendar. And then here's some additional resources. Remember, I said that not everything in here was going to be from the marketing resource. So this is Quick Start Essentials, Prospecting with a Captivating Elevator Speech. Quick Start Essentials is part of our Learn Center series on the 60-day Quick Start for Success. So this is a very specific class that they're asking you to look at for prospecting. Looking at some of the creating some videos, and then of course that build a real estate ecosystem worksheet again. So again, this is all about business building. It's all about inspiration. It's really giving you the how-to in this entire system. I'm going to go back to the IQ homepage here. And let's just take a quick peek at a couple of these other categories before I move into that campsite calendar so you can see what that looks like. Let's just peek at marketing and communications just so you can see what it looks like underneath there and what kind of topics they would have. Again, there's that explainer video. And then marketing and communications is going to go into that campsite calendar, information about becoming that forever agent. We've talked about forever agent before. This is becoming an agent and a real estate expert outside of consultation to close. This is all about being your resource for real estate all the time. You are the go-to person for real estate questions in general, whether somebody is buying, selling, renting, or not, just throughout their whole life cycle. They're buying and selling. Information about communication for luxury collection agents, luxury collection specialists. And then the really, really big one under here is the social media playbook. This is a huge, huge deal as people are starting to really branch out in their social media and understand how important it is, and also want to get inspiration and ideas to make their social media even better. I am going to go ahead and click into this section because it does tie in with that campsite calendar. And that way you can see what's underneath here as well. So you'll notice the instant inspiration again has changed. It's only relating to this social media playbook. So in this case, it's the overall topic, how to be always on content, establishing and optimizing social profiles for agents who have not established a profile yet. And they're thinking about all the various social media places they might want to be. This is a great way to basically see what's available, see what might fit your business plan. Remember, we said take that real estate IQ in the beginning, look at those marketing and business plans, and see which social media profiles would actually fit that business plan. Remember, you don't have to be everywhere, you just have to be somewhere and do it great. It's talking about Instagram content optimization, profile optimization. So these are two very different things. This is one is how to make your profile really stand out, make sure you have everything that's required under it. And then this is how to create amazing content for whatever that social channel happens to be. We talked a lot about LinkedIn this year. It's toward the end of 2021, it really started to take off. It's a big deal right now. We have a lot of agents who are working on getting their profiles up to date, but also optimizing them right now. And then we have all of these different how-tos under here. I'm going to go ahead just because we have looked at a couple of these things. Let's look at that LinkedIn profile optimization. So this isn't about creating content. It's just about getting your profile up to date. You'll notice that the contributor here is Neil Schaefer. He is actually a BHHS consultant, and he has done a tremendous amount of the social media training that's in here. This training is a lot longer. So this this is a 21-minute training that does absolutely nothing but talk about how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and how to make yourself the very best person you can be on LinkedIn for real estate. And then, of course, it's going to go into that same stuff that we've already talked about. Here are all the things that you need to do to optimize. Here's an actual checklist. And then here's some links. So here's that external link I was talking about, Maximizing LinkedIn for Business. It's by Neil Schaefer. It's a free document you can download from his website. And then it's going to start going into some of the other social media playbook articles that are in here. For example, if we wanted to look at maybe some content optimization instead. So this is all about building your profile and making it recognizable, making it individual. Let's look at something like an Instagram content optimization. If somebody already has optimized their profile looks great, all the required information is there, we're doing best practices, what do we post on Instagram? This is where that content optimization comes in. So again, that training is 23 minutes long. There's Neil. He's going to talk about content optimization on here. This is actually a great class to take. I actually learned something in this as well. And then he's going to go through, again, there's your best practices. Here's your optimization checklist. Here's how to do Instagram stories. Here are the links to the things he talked about in his training. And then here's, again, some additional social media playbook articles. You can see how in-depth this is, and you can see how much information is here. This is an absolutely wonderful way to just kind of have that mental checklist, that worksheet in order to make your social media profiles the best. All right, let me go back to that IQ. I'm actually going to go back to marketing and communications here real quick. And then we're going to go back to the IQ home. Because that ties in with this campsite calendar. So the campsite calendar was developed, again, to be that communications piece that tied all of this together. So it ties in that community networking, that really community outreach. It ties in creating that sphere of influence. It creates, talking to people, creating all the different facets of that, your sphere of influence. It ties together all the marketing communications, all the social media, all the direct, all the different email marketing you can do. And then again, it goes into my personal brand and promotion plan. Remember, this is very specific to each agent about developing all of this, combining all these categories. So that campsite calendar is a to-do list every day in order to make sure that you are optimizing yourself and then making sure that you're staying in touch and in front of people. So this is filled out for every month. So right now we're in January. And let's just take a look at what happened this week. And these, again, are just to-do lists for an agent who's in here. So Monday we had MLK Day. This was a reminder that we needed to post something for MLK Day. So if I go ahead and click on that, it's going to take me to another resource where it's going to hand give me what I need to do. In this case, it has taken me to the BHHS Marketing Resource Center, and it's saying, okay, we have e-cards we can send out. We can post something on our social media. This is another social post. So I can maybe download this for my Instagram profile. I'm going to go ahead and put that up as a content. And then I'm going to go ahead and maybe send out an e-card to my sphere of influence as well. So they've handed me what I'm supposed to do today in order to stay in front of all those things. So Tuesday, it said the social media resource automated post. We talked about social media resource in my class on just the BHHS resource as a whole. They can set up a social media resource to do an automated posting once a week. This one is suggesting we do it on Tuesday because that's the to-do list on here. If I click on this, it's going to take me to my social media resource automated post page just to make sure I've either chosen my content if I'm already signed up, or if I'm not signed up yet, an agent can go ahead and sign up for the social media resource post. Wednesday, so today, it's collaboration. Make plans for a Q1 community or charity event. Okay, so my to-do today is not necessarily something that needs to be posted or sent out to my sphere of influence, but it's telling me that, okay, I need to contact people in my community, or I need to sit down and start making plans for a community event. It's going to take me to the resources for those community networking events. And then it's also that trigger to say, okay, maybe I need to reach out to my favorite restaurant or my favorite food truck, or I need to reach out to this charity I'm working with, or I need to reach out to my neighborhood HOA and say, okay, I'm ready to do some kind of spring event and we're ready to get that started. So it's a to-do list, but it's not necessarily something I'm putting out on social media or sending an e-card, but it is making that contact. The 20th, so tomorrow, it's encouraging me to post that newsletter article or blog on my website or on social media. Those newsletter articles are available in Marketing Resource. It's going to take me right to the resource that's available here. Here's all the different articles I can post, and they've even created social images for me. So if I wanted to post this on as a page on my website, for example, and then I could link to that page and use this graphic that's already created to go ahead and post on social media. So it really takes kind of the guesswork and content creation out of it for an agent. So on Friday, it's asking me to post something about real estate. So either a listing, an event, or a property promo flyer. So it's saying, okay, if you have a listing, now's a great time to promote it. Are you doing an open house this weekend? Go ahead and promote that. Are you, do you have another listing you want to promote? Go ahead and promote that. It's just something about real estate. I always encourage agents when they're here too, that if they don't have any properties for sale right now, go ahead and host an open house for somebody else, or use that opportunity to post stats coming out of the Domus Analytics tool, or post an interesting fun fact about a community, post a community landing page, something like that. And then finally, on Saturday, it's telling us to post that personal passion content in a social post. One of the most important things that we're training right now is that you can have all of this automated stuff, and it's great, but people really need to get to know the real you. That personal passion content is something that should be very personal. So it can be posting about your kids going to their favorite playground and having a great photo, or you took the dog to your neighborhood dog park, or hey, I'm checking in at my favorite restaurant, or I'm going to go to the car show with my antique car, or whatever their personal passion happens to be, so that people can get to know them as a person, not necessarily as just a real estate agent, is what those posts are encouraging you to do. And this is what makes an entire balanced sphere of influence content, sphere of influence contact, and also content calendar for everyone. So it's very business, it's very personal, and then also kind of touches on all the individual points that we have going on during the week. And you'll see that this continues to change. It's going to continue to give resources. It's going to continue to give ideas. This will change for February, and we'll get a whole new content calendar with all new stuff in it in February. So this is kind of a daily to do on there. And again, this is just for real estate agents in general. Make sure that we take that real estate IQ quiz the first time we log in. And then all of the rest of this in here is going to be about building the business plan, building wealth creation, having resources to do this, educational resources, leadership resources, training about all of these different business plans. If you click into My Business Plan and Marketing Plan, it's going to give resources about developing business and marketing plan templates. We love these, especially if we have agents coming to see us in marketing. Before they get there, we always like to have some kind of idea of where they would like to be in 2022, what they're thinking about doing, and things like that. These marketing and business plans can really help us if somebody has kind of defined where they want to be, or kind of thought about what kind of marketing that they want to do in 2022, and kind of think about a plan, to have this in front of them, so that when we talk to them, we can kind of refine that, give additional suggestions and stuff like that. I love these marketing plan templates that are in here just for resources. And you can see the huge number of resources we have in here. And they're for all sorts of different things. Agents who want to do more on social, agents who want to do more just on outreach and business, doing more activities in general. So it really depends on what kind of business they want to be in and where they want to be. And again, notice that we have more stuff in here this is one from Heidi Harris. She's one of my favorite people who does a lot on social media and community outreach down in North Carolina at York Simpson Underwood. And she's provided a 3-minute video on how to develop that marketing and business plan. And so just some information from an actual agent who's absolutely killing it in what she's doing. She does a fantastic job. So that is what the IQ system is: collaboration, networking, planning, ideas, inspiration. And the more people put into it, the more we can get out of it. So again, highly encourage Sparks to go into the system, but also keep an eye on things, because there's always new masterminds, always new workshops, always new materials coming out in here. And it is a great place to start if somebody just says, I don't know how to, or I need help with, or I'm ready to, whatever their marketing and business plan happens to be. Did anybody have any questions on the IQ system at all? Happy to answer any. No questions? All right. Well, I thank you very much for coming to the class today. Hopefully you guys can use this as for your own inspiration as well, to be able to help your agents in your offices. If you have any questions in the future, again, you can always use the BHHS resource chat or help features, but we're also willing to help you in web support at bhhstown.com or marketing. And we'll be happy to send you out any additional resources or answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much, everyone.
And Kristen,
Yeah.
especially for our admins, just so you know, there's something like the campsite calendar. It's a good idea to go ahead and just grab that and send it out once a month to your offices, just to remind agents of things they can be doing, or share it with your manager so that your manager can put some narrative with it and send it on out to the agents. Okay?